Hi everyone. So amazing to see so many of you today that we apparently don't even have enough chairs. So this next bit will be something a little bit different, and we're focusing on what's coming next for customer experience intelligence. Where do we go from here? For the past few months, we've been focused on delivering tools and features that help our customers get more precision and more depth out of their voice of the customer insights. So last year, we released observations to offer a new, deeper layer of intelligence that is much more precise and much more immediately actionable. The feedback from users has been overwhelmingly positive, and we will definitely continue working on this part of our product for months and years to come. But today, I want to talk about something else. Today, we are announcing our agentic vision for Chattermill. Now, you've probably heard about agents a lot, but bear with me, there will be more. So, over the last couple of years, we've seen technological advances on the scale that we've never seen before. LLMs, agents, and specifically agentic coding tools have not just improved the productivity, they've completely changed the whole economy of building software, and with many other categories we think soon to follow. What once took weeks can now take days, and what once took days sometimes now takes hours or even minutes. What was once available only to the data savvy and the more technically minded of us is now available to everyone. Sorry, Georgia, we have some technical issues. Sorry. Yeah, this quote from, the slides are working, sorry, on my screen. It's not. So this quote from the CEO of Linear, one of the products that we use a lot here at Chattermill and we love, has recently stopped me in my tracks. It's, what's talking about is that AI compresses the space and time and effort between the idea and the implementation, between deciding what to do and actually doing it, making the middle of the software work disappear, not necessarily software, all product work disappear. So across all industries, teams are rethinking now how they work from first principles, not just to move faster for its own sake, but to make more impact. Delivering value faster and making better decisions about what to build in the first place is what we think people actually want. And this isn't limited just to tech companies. Even the largest companies in the world are publicly reshaping how they work with AI and agents at the core. I'm pretty sure you've heard a lot of this already. And this can for sure get a little overwhelming at times. But at Chattermill, we see it as a once-in-a-generation opportunity to achieve what we've always dreamed of. We believe the best teams won't just build faster. They'll make dramatically better decisions, and that's where the real advantage lies. At Chattermill, we've embraced AI in everything we do. We use it daily. The agents are extremely powerful. They're definitely here to stay. But we believe speed alone doesn't create impact. In fact, when execution becomes so easy, new risks tend to emerge. First, prioritization is still critical. Even if execution is no longer the scarce commodity it used to be, picking what to execute on is very much still is. So teams today can build almost everything almost instantly, at least in the world of software. Every team is empowered to contribute to building products. I talked to a few of you in the room here about designers building products, product managers, even people in leadership like myself. So I've shipped more features to production in the last month than I have done in my career, and I'm not even an engineer. But when we're always shipping something new, it's sometimes harder to step back and ask, is this actually the most important thing we should be working on right now? Speed without direction just gets you to the wrong place sooner. And if you work brilliantly and very quickly on the 10th most important problem, ultimately that's still wasted effort. The second danger we see is this local maximum trap. So when ideas are very cheap to prototype, conversations tend to drift towards solutions over problems. In the technical speak, teams converge on a solution very, very quickly and then begin executing it. But they may walk into something that's decent solution, but to the wrong problem, or maybe without the full context of the problem. And this leads to what's called the local maximum. So it's a decent solution, but it's an improvement, but one that misses a much bigger opportunity in the same space. Focusing on velocity alone can easily mask shallow thinking. And then third, what we see a lot of already is quick wins can create global chaos. So when it's very easy to build, the product strategy is increasingly being skipped, and it becomes some version of let's just execute and then we'll iterate faster and we'll eventually get to success. And each decision in isolation seemingly makes sense, but together they fragment the system. Half-thought features, inconsistent flows, fragile assumptions, and what emerges isn't a thoughtful, coherent product strategy or product experience, but a Jenga tower that gets more fragile as it gets taller, increasingly unstable and increasingly harder to evolve. And that fragmentation quietly taxes everything you do, and will eventually prevent you from achieving the holy grail of experience-led growth that you've heard so much about today. So execution is getting easier, and that's amazing, but defining what to build and how to build it is only getting harder. Teams on the cutting edge are already feeling this. A recent survey has shown that if you ask product managers today what they want the most help of from AI, it's no longer coding. It's actually user research, believe it or not. And that's not to replace researchers, but to understand the customers better, to reduce blind spots and make decisions with confidence. And this mirrors very much what we hear from our customers every day, and I've heard a lot of this already today, talking to a few of you. You ask any product manager what they want more of, and for most it isn't necessarily faster shipping, it's ensuring that they make the right decisions. It's ensuring that they have clarity, they have context, and they know what actually matters. So everyone typically values research. Everyone loves it, but almost no one has enough time to do it well, at least in our practice. And so the most important input into good decisions becomes the most difficult. And yet when research is done right, it changes pretty much everything. Fortunately, we believe agents can also be part of the solution to this problem. So in a short amount of time, we've already started getting used to using agents for coding, for building prototypes, to building products faster than ever. But we've barely scratched the surface of what's possible, what agents can do on the strategic side of building products, helping us understand the customers better. Research is fundamentally really hard. Customer feedback that we work with at Chattermill is incredibly messy, unstructured, full of nuance, subjective. It doesn't live in these clean tables. It lives in millions of conversations, reviews, transcripts, tickets, surveys. So signal gets buried in the noise. But we know context matters. We know this nuance matters. Unlike coding, with customer experience, you typically don't have this verifiable data to train on. There is no right answer for most of this. And this slide might be a little bit technical here, but in a nutshell, what we see here is that agents don't, as smart as they are already, don't magically solve this problem by themselves. They work great with structured data, but their built-in capabilities tend to fail even at about 10,000 unstructured documents. And yet, in customer experience, we usually work with data sets 10, 100 or a million times larger than that. For most companies in this room today, you probably have received 10,000 pieces of customer feedback just this week, and it's only Wednesday. So even the smartest agents and the humans using them, hopefully, need help. But the good news is that we can also use some of the same technology to help agents, give them the right tools and the right guardrails and infrastructure so they can support humans who are working to understand customers at scale. And as it turned out, this was exactly what we were building this whole time at Chattermill for the last few years. Now, I've made a fair number of different product announcements over the years working with Chattermill, but this is by far the most game-changing and my favorite one. In fact, I'm in complete awe as to what to come next, because we've been trialing it, a lot of it internally already. So if agents can help us build faster, they can also help us make better decisions. That is, in a nutshell, our vision. We're building an agentic copilot for every team that relies on understanding your customers, whether you're from product, from customer experience, marketing, operations, or any other team. It will continuously scan and learn from your customers and surface what matters, helping teams find the highest impact opportunities, design full solutions, and anchor them in the overall context of your customer. This is not another dashboard or report, but a system that thinks and works alongside you. To get there, our roadmap has these three complementary pieces: proactive insight discovery, collaborative exploration, and tools and capabilities for your agents. And we'll dive into each one of those in a second. All three are underpinned by the same shared agentic core, and which in turn sits on top of the Chattermill Insight Engine that many of you here know and love, and everyone else hopefully will soon discover. So let's start with proactive discovery. When you're moving fast, the hardest thing is no longer execution. It's seeing the whole map. Most teams, they don't struggle with lack of ideas. They instead struggle because they only see what's directly in front of them. What's the loudest ticket, the latest complaint, that item that's already in your backlog. But you can't choose well if you don't see what else is possible. So in proactive discovery mode, Chattermill Agent continuously explores your customer feedback, surfacing emerging trends and issues, signals tied to Net Promoter Score, even though apparently no one likes it anymore, the shifts in customer segment, recurring feature requests, and most importantly, as teams have their own questions, they can define these research recipes, which the agent will then watch out for what matters most to you. And we don't want the agent to just mindlessly spam you with insights. So we make it understand what really matters to you and how to keep the insights fresh and impactful. Imagine, at least it's our dream, it would be that this is like a smart researcher constantly working on your specific domain. And you'll hear more about this later in the session at the very end. Next, collaborative exploration. So we think proactive discovery has been our dream at Chattermill since we started Chattermill. But we also know that this is not always how things actually work in practice. Sometimes you actually already have an idea that you want to test, or maybe you are preparing for a meeting with the CEO tomorrow and you need a report built for that. So in this mode, Chattermill Agent can work with you and go as deep as you want to go. This builds a little bit on the functionality that we released last year called Ask Lyra. Now, Ask Lyra used AI to answer questions using the power of the Chattermill platform, but we found that this question-and-answer experience was only scratching the surface of what is possible with today's technology. Chattermill Agent can take a prompt and then run a whole series of different types of analysis, queries, searches, and work continuously until it gets to the right result. So you work with it a little bit similarly to how you would with a human analyst by asking questions and giving directions. So maybe you'll start with, why is the churn spiking? Then try to understand how it compares to the last quarter, and then summarize something into a slide. Our research assistant follows your thoughts and helps you efficiently get to the insights you're craving for. So it feels less like a querying tool and a little bit more like working with a human analyst by your side. And we have specifically trained the agent for customer understanding, using the knowledge that we have accumulated over the years working with some of the largest and most innovative companies in the world. Now, we think our agent will be the best place for customer understanding, but we also know that a lot of you will want to empower your own agents with some of the same powers. So this is actually something our customers can already sign up for and try today through what's called an MCP. Now, MCP is a slightly terrible name, but it is what it is. It actually means Model Context Protocol, but essentially what this means is this is a standard developed by Anthropic, makers of Claude. You might have heard a little bit about it, and it allows agents, not just Claude, but a lot of other agents, communicate with external tools such as Chattermill in a standardized way. So what this means is that your agents, so for example, Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, any other, can interact with Chattermill. And we also provide a set of what is called skills to help these agents use Chattermill effectively, to get the most value. Think of it a little bit like that Matrix scene where Neo learned Kung Fu, or in this case, flying the helicopter. So the MCP server makes Chattermill intelligence accessible inside of your existing workflows. So you can find insights in customer feedback, run quantitative analysis, build reports, or integrate with any other product, and there's literally no limit to what you can do in these things. We are already using it internally at Chattermill quite heavily, and our customers can now start getting access to this, so we're really, really excited to get it into your hands. And again, I've spoken to only a few of you before the session, and almost every single conversation was about, can we get access to the MCP, which just warms my heart. Now, for us, we anchor our agentic products, all three of those, in these three core principles that we believe are critical to solve this problem. First, we think it's important to remember that what actually matters is human experience. And I can't believe I have to say it, but yeah, there we are. Teams need to feel and relate to the pains of their customers. So every narrative that our agent prepares ultimately goes back to the actual voice of the customer and their own words. Next, and this one is really, really important, is we want to use AI, but not compromise the analytical rigor. So every narrative has to be reliable and trustworthy. This means that agents are relying on our insight engine that quantifies how big each pain point is, why it matters, who it affects, in a consistent and robust way. And finally, and I think again, really importantly, we don't want to lose sort of forest for the trees. So the ultimate goal of all of this is to help you achieve experience-led growth. So this means we don't want users just to find some local insights here and there, but to work in the overall context of your organization and strategic outcomes that lead you to this experience-led growth goal that quite often we work with customers to define. So where does this take Chattermill? We'll see, but where we are thinking right now is like our product will evolve into a single source of truth for not just your customer experience data, which we do today, but also insights, decisions made, actions taken, and their outcomes. Wire AI, our constantly evolving instant engine built specifically for customer experience, will continue getting better and better to get both strategic insights and the details that matter. And finally, all of this sits on our battle-tested infrastructure with guardrails to scale to the largest and most complex enterprises in the world. And together, this helps our agents, which will help all of you to turn insights into action. I'm extremely excited about this technology because it supercharges our dream of delivering customer insights directly into the hands of everyone in our organization, from CEO all the way to the delivery driver, to the host, to customer support rep, to shop floor assistant, whatever your business is. We believe like we are on the cusp of this era where everyone in an organization will have access to high quality customer experience insights and essentially understand their customer. So yeah, if you like what you heard and you want to be a pioneer of this technology, you can sign up using the QR code on the screen, and we'll reach out to you as soon as the time is right.
Oh.